to be slightly contrarian, I think we overestimate, the power of the technology, and we underestimate market economics. If every skill is commoditized, why would I pay for it? Why would I read your book if your book is written by an LLM? Why would I? The thing that I value is the fact that Fifi put your life's work into a book, and that's what I want to read about. And so there's always this balancing force, right? And I think, like with any technology, the overestimation comes up, and that's why you have hype cycles, right? And we're thoroughly in a hype cycle right now. And I think sometimes we miss the actual value that it can generate. So when I say that AI is a tool to unleash human creativity and flourishing, I don't mean that there won't be specific tasks that you shouldn't do anymore, because those will change, like factory work. We don't build cars by hand anymore, but the automation of building a car is still not thoroughly, just machine only, right? There's still people that have to do design and do other forms of work. So we must be careful, I think, with our language when we say we'll replace people, because personhood is much more than just the things that you do. Personhood is a much bigger thing, and I think it's about how you view humanity. I suppose if you had to accuse me of anything, my optimistic view of humanity is I believe that we are the most adaptive beings on the planet, and we'll always find a way to adapt.
Sure.
So if you take that viewpoint, in future, if a consultant comes to me and they go, here's a consulting pack, I've looked at your data, I've used ChatGPT, here's the answer, why should I pay for that? I'm looking for the insight to go, I know this person in that organization, you should absolutely merge with that organization because it will unlock this value. That's the thing that we're actually paying for. The value is what we're paying for, not the commodity.
Sure.
And I think sometimes when you put it the other way around, you end up with this very sensationalist, will replace everybody. People and personhood is much more than just the things that I do. The things I do may change, but who I am won't change, and I can adapt.
I get that, and I agree, and thanks so much for putting a perspective there.
Yeah.
But if we just
I just wanted to raise a point that I've made an observation. When it comes to AI, I think sometimes we confuse ourselves about how to communicate it. Looking in how sometimes we say AI is going to replace our jobs, and then sometimes we say it's not going to replace our jobs. Somebody said at the beginning that AI is going to replace your job if you do not use AI.
It was me.
Yes. And then there was a comment about just how sometimes we belittle products that are designed and created through AI, like for instance, publishing. There was a comment about how, nowadays everybody's a publisher, you can tell a book that has been published through AI and not, and we speak of it as if we mean that, something that is of no greater value as compared to a product that does not use AI. And yet we are saying everybody must go and use AI. I think we need to be careful about how we frame and communicate, these things, because we may, end up just giving others the impression that if you use AI, therefore your product is not that worthy. Therefore, you must not use AI. So I just wanted to just highlight that and remind everybody that we need to be careful about how we frame, the way we communicate AI, and speak of it and encourage people to use AI more, just as we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think that's a great point, but I think that maybe what we didn't do in framing that, because I'd say that many of you that you are the experts in the field, but what you guys talk about AI as being is something that complements you. And I think the risk is if you just get this tool to do your work for you, that's where your economic value or the quality of that work is diminished. Yeah. But if you do it to enhance and complement you, it becomes a little bit different.
Absolutely spot on.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't mind me adding, the fundamentals haven't changed. In business, it's about trade. If I sell you something, if I make my beer taste better, you're going to buy it. And there is a case where if you add too much AI, the beer could taste worse. But there's also a case where if you add the right amount of AI, the beer tastes better. And it's in the wisdom of that for you to figure it out for your business.
Sure. Any other comments?